This is Larissa Hall and Nadine Matthews, and we're going to be doing our final debate here for QUICM 552. The topic that we've chosen is internet and isolation, as in the internet causes isolation. I'll be debating the affirmative, and Nadine will be on the other side, um, stating that, well, I don't know what she'll be stating, but I wanted to start with a little introduction here, just based on the affirmative, that the internet does cause isolation, and that it really, yes, has revolutionized the way that we live in the United States. It's created great tools and resources for us, but concerning the Stanford Institute for Quantitative Study of Society, they did a report that suggested that people who use the internet frequently, so that's about 31% of the US population, would spend a whopping 70 minutes more not spending time with their families. Um, so, what I'm really focusing here on, in addition to the work aspects of it and employment, is just that the internet drives us away from real human contact.
Okay. Is that the end of your intro?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So just going to start. I'll just start with some examples, and then I guess I'll just kind of wrap up, at the end, do kind of a summary at the end after you do your rebuttal. But contrary to what many people believe, the internet has the effect of bringing people together, as opposed to the effect of isolating the individual. There are many cases in which people are unable to meet in person and because of the internet can still communicate. Everyone who uses Facebook or some other type of social media has had the experience of reuniting with a friend from childhood who otherwise would have been lost to them forever. On the job, the internet allows teams in different locations to come together for the purposes of meetings, trainings, etc. I personally experienced this recently when I had a scheduled day off in order to attend screenings for a film festival. There was an important training scheduled for new software being implemented, and instead of canceling my vacation day, I was still able to log into the meeting from the theater and attend the 2 hour training session, seeing and hearing, and in turn being seen and heard, everything that was being said and done. I've reunited with distant cousins through Facebook. I'll even go so far as to say that I've reunited with my father on Facebook and am up to speed with many things happening in their lives. On particularly bad days at work, I can shoot a note about my frustrations to a friend via text or GChat or Facebook chat, and I don't have to worry about anyone hearing my conversation, um, as I would if I was on the phone. And my friends can send me a little hang in there reply, I feel better, and I go on to have a productive day. I also want to say that today's technology makes things like Skype and Hangouts more and more ubiquitous. So a lot of the arguments against social media was that we lose, looking at each other or body language, et cetera, et cetera. So that is becoming more and more of a non-issue. When I first moved to Connecticut many years ago, actually, had no family there, no friends. It was a new job, new state, and it would have been great for me to be a texter or a Facebooker at that point. It would have helped me make that transition. So I'm very much, of the opinion that the internet brings us together. It allows for connections that otherwise wouldn't be there. Maybe not for the person who is already steeped in family and friends, but maybe for people who are already isolated. It allows them to have a larger percentage of contact with other people. And that's the end of my my
Mhm.
first
And
statement.
well, I'd say that the internet definitely drives the isolation that already exists. Just as a culture, we historically have been a culture of really honoring the independence. So we look at characters like astronauts and cowboys and pilgrims, and those are all different, very independent characters that really thrive on the isolation that the American culture has always been going for. Now, with that said, looking more at the employment issue, is is that what the internet does is it really provides and promotes the opportunity to become a workaholic. It gives you the ability to be connected 24/7, and with that it really drives you away from all of the really human contact and the relationships that will actually help you grow and create an emotional balance in your life. So I mean, what we see with workaholics is we see parents sitting at the dinner table checking email. We see teenagers texting rather than having conversations on the phone. Um, what's happening is we're not getting those little bits of human interaction that really keep us kind of human in that they're unnatural. And so, really looking at the future of the internet in isolation, I really think it's only going to get worse from here. Yes, there are these technologies, but there have always been new technologies in the US. Look at something like TV that drove people away from having relationships and really interacting with people. Um, with that, the internet is going to create these new tools, and people are only going to find new ways to isolate themselves. And that we need to actively um, maintain relationships and use the tools wisely. And so, with the future of that, even companies need to establish guidelines for keeping their employees from becoming workaholics. And I think we're over our 5 minutes. I don't know how much farther you want to go.
I'm just gonna, well, I wanted to reply to what you were saying, but I'll just do my closing. I'll just do my like closing argument.
Okay.
I'll just say that isolation in today's society is a result of many things, but not because of the internet. It's a result of many things, including forced quote unquote diversity, where disparate cultures are thrown together mainly via litigation, as opposed to doing the harder work of identifying and stressing our commonalities. Today's isolation is a result of the juggernaut of big business pressure to get us to spend our time spending on ourselves instead of investing time into caring for and about each other. Case in point, Mother's Day advertising storm that we're currently in the midst of. How much of that talks about spending time getting to know Mother or being with Mother as opposed to buying things for Mother? Are we teaching our children how to cultivate friendships even in the midst of an internet culture? Or are we teaching them to get good grades and to win ball games? Those are the failings, and not Facebook is the problem. There's already a vacuum, there's already a problem. And the internet is a symptom of a problem that was already there and created by more of a big business profit making culture than anything else.